This is our i3 departing forever, hopefully to be sold by Richard Simons, because we have a Model 3 coming that I'm going to pick up today. So this is the delivery area, and that's my car there, LF19YAN. That one right there. So this is the rest of the waiting area, and we've got a little problem because I've never been given a VIN, even though they told me to come and collect the car today, and they sent me a registration number through. So I've never had an invoice to pay, so I've never transferred the money because I've not been able to do it because I've never been given an invoice in my Tesla account. So they're just going to try and sort it out now. So unlike many other car companies, they were quite prepared to let me take the car home and not completely pay for it. There was an issue with the fact that they hadn't sent me an invoice to pay for the car. So I've paid for it now with a transfer from my bank, but it wasn't quite the whole amount. However, they're going to let me take the car and pay the balance tomorrow, or as soon as I'm able to do it, which is fine. They said even if it was only a quarter, they'd let me do it, which, bearing in mind I've bought another car from them in the past and various other things, they shouldn't really have an issue with that, but they could probably find me and get the car back if they needed to. So anyway, that's all good, and now they're just going to make sure the payments come through and then sort me out with the car. This one actually looks really good. There are a few little marks on it, but they seem to rub straight off with a finger, so they're not in the paint, they're just on the surface. The bits issued with the UMC, but it did not have the blue cable, so they're getting one of those for me. Just beware of that, you're supposed to get a blue charging cable with it as well. So far it's actually really quite good. There's a few little marks where they've polished the car and it's not perfect, but actually I've only found one mark in the paint, which is a tiny nick under the driver's door handle here. This tiny one here. That's it. Everything else looks pretty good. So yeah, interior is pretty clean as well. It's had a nice wipe down. It's in pretty good shape. It actually looks great. There's no issues with the seats. There's no issues with the interior. Only one tiny mark on the paint. The console's all lovely and glossy and clean. The seats look fantastic. The headline looks good. It's not sagging anywhere. No marks on it anywhere. No finger marks or any nonsense like that. So basically, I'm quite pleased. No one. Scuffing on that. So the detailer's taking it away to resolve the issue on the rear light lenses.
You go back in.
So you close the app, you go back in. It's got the car there.
Yeah.
It's all the way down the end there. Right, so set up your phone as a key, yes? Yeah. And then set up your phone as a key again. And start. And it's searching for key, which is being held on the doorpost there, on the B pillar. Just under the camera, is it?
Yeah.
Just under the camera. And then that should... Do I need my Bluetooth on?
If it's searching, it will already be on.
Right. You do need your Bluetooth on.
There you go. And then if you place that underneath in the centre console.
So that then has to go in.
No.
On?
No, underneath.
Oh, underneath the cup, behind the cup holders there.
And your phone is
And straight away, the phone has registered the card. Done. Brilliant. So my phone is now a key. And we do that again for my wife's phone as well. How many devices can you have? 8?
I believe so, yeah.
8 devices, brilliant. Okay, and I've got enough juice to get back to Bournemouth, which is brilliant. Right, well, this is it. I'm driving out. Thank you. Of the service centre. Oh, this has got automatic creep on, which is horrible. Mind you. How cool is that? They've got so many, just look at these. So many Model 3s here, it is ridiculous. Coming in. The steering lock's not that. Someone said the steering lock was terrible on these, it's not that bad. We're off. I'm still on private property, so I can do this, but as soon as I get out on the road, I'm going to have to put it down. So there's a lot of activity here. I had 189 miles range left in it when I got it, so that'll get me home. But none of the superchargers are free. But basically, wow, it's quiet. Really quiet. So they spent as much time with me as I wanted, an hour in the end, and they were very good and they didn't rush me at all, though they were busy, but they didn't rush me at all. So now I'm going to get on and drive home, and I'll tell you all about it when I get there. I've just got home after driving the car back from West Drayton, where I've just collected it from the sales centre, and we have done 107 miles for 271 watt hours per mile on the motorway. Really lovely car. Autopilot calibrated itself within 3.5 miles. Beautiful to drive. I didn't like some of the settings that were on the car, but I'm going to change them now, so it's more the way I like it. Very pleased. Just going to plug it in and see what the charge rate is on 7.7 kilowatt AC 32 amp charging. So, there we go, charging. Now, let's just see it get itself sorted out and what kind of speed we get out of it. We're actually very lucky here because we have a very high voltage supply. It's on 16 amps, really, come on. Let's get up to 32. And even when you put the full voltage through the car, it stays above 240, which is great because what that means is we get a faster charge rate. So there we go. On the Model S, the maximum charge rate is about 22 to 23 miles per hour. I mean, that's rated, so it doesn't really mean that. It's a guide, really, more than anything else. But here we have, let's get up to the full charge rate. Here we have a charge rate of 29 miles per hour. So I'm going to leave this plugged in for about half an hour, and then I'm going to go and get my wife, whose car this is, and pick her up in it, which she should be very pleased about. Well, there she is, happily home. I got the Aero 18s because I don't like silly big wheels, because they make you go less far and use more fuel, energy, whatever. And 18-inch wheels are much more comfortable to drive on as well. So I'm very happy with this car, it's lovely. I just hope the wife likes it as much as I do.